Here.
Frank Hampson,
Here.
Dan Roberts,
Present.
Brian Stabley,
Here.
Kathy Valentine,
Present.
Sam Tinsley,
Here.
Robert Meade,
Here.
James Hart,
Here.
Ralph Gwynn,
Present.
James Wagner,
Here.
David Thompson.
Here.
Do I hear a motion to approve the February 9, 2015 minutes and the March 9, 2015 agenda?
I move.
I second.
I have a correction on those minutes. Including the cover page, if you turn to the 5th page, and 1 through 4th paragraph, Justice Roberts made a motion. I was the only nay vote instead of Justice Wyden.
What are you talking about now?
If you include the cover page, go to page 5.
I've got numbers on it.
Mine's not numbered.
I was the one that got numbers.
And go down to the 4th paragraph.
Okay.
Justice Roberts made a motion. I was the only nay instead of Justice White.
Roberts, maybe, surely I was a nay too.
That was another one.
Say approve as it
Okay, it's been approved as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign. Motion stands. Tony, would you please give the treasurer report?
Okay, beginning balance as of February the 1st, 2015 for County General was $2,381,452.63. Revenues for the month were $408,937.04. Disbursements for the month, $663,752.39, resulting in a balance on February 28th, 2015 for County General of $2,126,637.28. Beginning balance as of February the 1st, 2015 for County Roads was $341,312.82. Revenues for the month were $144,772.54. Disbursements for the month were $120,518.99, resulting in a balance on February 28, 2015 of $365,566.37. 1/4 cent sales tax revenues for February were $119,806.34. 1% county sales tax revenue for February were $272,772.65. General revenue turnback for February was $14,988.55. Highway revenue turnback for February was $82,002.62. The 1/2% state highway tax for February was $43,374.37.
It? Are there any committee reports?
We have a copy of the Budget and Finance Committee minutes in the packet, I believe, and I'll serve as a report.
Appreciate it.
There you go.
Okay,
Duly submitted, sir, Mr. Chairman.
all right. Do we have a first? Okay. Just approved? It's approved then. There are no No announcements or presentations at this time. New business.
I would make a motion that this ordinance under new business be read. And I think we could surely read this in its entirety.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed by the same sign. Okay.
Jump out there.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas. Section 1. The following appropriations are made from the Public Defender's Office Fund number 3024 from 3024-0417-1004 Public Defender Personnel Contract Labor $3,000. And that goes to the account number 3024-417-1003 Public Defender Personnel Extra Help $3,000. These funds are a transfer of funds within the Public Defender's budget with no new funds appropriated. And the next part is 3024 Public Defender's Fund to account number 3024-0417-2002 Public Defender Supplies Small Equipment $250. To account number 3024-0417-3021 Public Defender OS&C Other Services and Charges Postage $250. And also the account of 3024-417-3022 Public Defender Other Services and Contracts Cell Phones $500. And also the account 3024-0417-3030 Public Defender Other Services and Contracts Travel $1,500. These funds, $2,500, are monies available to the Public Defender's budget. Section 2. The following appropriation are made from Drug Court Fund number 3028. From 3028 Drug Court, $4,500 to account number 3028-0404-3101 Drug Court Other Services and Contracts Training and Education, $4,500. These funds, $4,500, are a transfer of funds within the Drug Court budget from grant money. Section 3. The following appropriation are made from the County Sheriff's budget, 1,000-0400. And this comes from 1,000-0400-2006 County Sheriff Supplies Clothing, $4,860. And it goes to account number 1,000-0400-1015 County Sheriff Personnel Uniform Allowance, $4,860. These funds, $4,860, are a transfer of funds within the County Sheriff's budget with no new funds appropriated. And in Section 4, if any provision of this section or section of this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions and sections of this ordinance. And to such end, the provisions and sections of this ordinance are declared to be severable. Section 5. The ordinance herein enacted is an appropriations ordinance and therefore is effective immediately. I would move for adoption.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. David, on section 1, are you increasing? I mean, did last month, what was it talked about, or maybe at the your budget meeting or something about it was $2,000 or $3,000 was carryover that he had not spent at that time, and they decided to give that to him?
What it is, Robert, is that $2,500 was money that was available within his Fund 2 budget that was not budgeted before.
Okay.
So he's budgeting that amount of money.
And, okay.
And the $3,000
Yes.
we should have done last meeting.
It was the ordinance that was already there to do last month, but he's just redone his whole budget now, including his $2,500.
Two different amounts of money.
Yes.
Two different
to be able to return. And so when the auditors told them that they needed to move the money and not pay out of contract labor because it's not a contract, then that was what the money was supposed to go for. But
this actual employee is not there currently. So, okay, well, we could still, we could check on the new employee that would replace this. And, you know, then we could say, you know, to him, you know, don't let him work anywhere else. Or budget it in to, you know, include it in, stop the hours, you know, before they reach the point where we have to kick in more.
I could.
Is not the Social Security requirement?
Yeah.
You don't have that in here either. You need to have, why not charge him whatever it's gonna be if he doesn't use it all? That's okay. You know, put retirement in there too. I mean, it's our responsibility.
Charge everything out to him whether he uses it or not.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, we could hedge that way. I mean, we charge him for, I mean, the $2,500, I mean, we could throw in some retirement based on the $2,500.
It's my understanding that that $3,000 is going to go not only for salary, but also for, it would have to be broken down for Social Security.
But you can't
Well,
do that, it has to be by line item.
Well, if you broke the $3,000, the $2,500, that, I get back and forth on the wrong number, but the $3,000 is what we're looking for on the part-time. So we could kick that back to, you could prorate the Social Security just on the standard rate.
Right.
For Social Security, for retirement, and pull back and say, well, that's all we've got in that line item.
For salary and then save the rest for the
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that, oh,
He can, the part-time person can work, correct me if I'm wrong, work outside, but he can't work for another government entity, right?
anybody's covered by acres, and that's public employees. I don't know, there might be a water department or something like that, you know, that, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be this. There would be some other outfits that would be covered by acres. So, you know, that would, any of it would be the kicker. But we could, you know, we could pull back on that. That doesn't have any, I mean, that's subject to amending and approving or whatever, I guess, in that section 1. If we wanted to, you know, amend that to, I don't know, what's it, retirement is 14%, Lucretia?
14.65.
And then Social Security 7, so 21%, 2 times, it would be $600 would be about 20% of 3,000. And we could pull back and appropriate $2,400 of that, and then just, I mean, we can restructure this
Actually,
somewhere
we
or
should
other.
move to amend to have those corrections
Yeah.
made so that we could vote on it and have it be done.
Okay.
You make that
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
That we pull back to
I can't
$2,400?
give her a figure, I just reduce it to an amount which allows us to charge both
To
social
deduct the,
and retirement.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Motion.
but the person hasn't worked that over. I mean, this is, you're talking about into the future, right?
Well, but that's the only thing we can do to guard against.
Well, I'm
Put it
gonna
back
just make a
in.
motion to strike section 1, because the way I see it, section 1, 2, and 3 should have been all separate appropriation ordinances.
Just can't win.
No, I know.
It's either too long, or it's too short, or
But I
it's
mean,
too,
I'm just
it's
saying,
too,
I
too
wouldn't
hot
have
or
a
too
problem
cold.
with the drug court, and I wouldn't have a problem with the sheriff's office uniforms if there's on separate appropriation.
We can amend this one ordinance
You can
and
amend
pass
it any
it.
way you want to.
They don't have to be separate, and this way we only have to pay to publish one ordinance rather than what, 4 or 5? 3?
Well, I just haven't,
I would like to second Justice Roberts' motion.
You have a second?
Your motion was
Was to amend by reducing the salary amount to whatever it takes to pay the benefits there.
And that is
Social
introduced
Security
as an amendment, right?
Yes.
because we have a motion on the floor. So, yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes carry. Now we're back to
As
the main.
amended.
No, you have to do the amendment first.
We just
Yeah,
voted.
that's what I said, no, Frank said, go back to the,
No.
go back to the original.
He said main
Motion is
motion.
amended.
Yeah.
That's a,
Going back to the main motion is amended.
Do you have a question?
Is everybody with the quorum court done? Okay, Dixie?
On the matter that y'all are discussing, I had a couple of questions. First of all,
You got questions, yeah, go right ahead.
first of all, last month when this gentleman was asking for the funds and he mentioned the different counties that he works for. My question is, y'all asked him about the other counties and their budgets, and he said that they had appropriated them, but he never gave a percentage. My question would be, what percentage does he do for Boone County, and what percentage is he asking Boone County to support? In other words, he has a secretary that does only Marion County. So are we asking, footing more of the bill for other counties? Are they, that was the one thing. And then about the salary, I was wondering, when you're hiring temporary or part-time personnel, if it would be better to hire through one of the agencies in town. That way they're actually the agency's employee, so it doesn't matter what they work, they would never be qualified for the benefits through the county because they're actually one of the agency's employees. So that might be something that y'all may consider for a future. That is it. Thank you.
Sort of along the line of what she said, you could easily do it with just put in there that have a tracking report every week to, let's say, the county judge or to somebody that would be in charge of the exact hours he worked. And then you'd know exactly how many hours he worked. It wouldn't take long, but you're going, okay, you worked, okay, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else? Call for the vote
As amended.
as amended.
James Wagner,
yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Kara Staton,
Yes.
Frank Hampson,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Tinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Park,
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn.
Yes. Item passes. Okay. I guess,
No,
go ahead. Sorry, Karen.
I want to apologize for the personnel committee not meeting the first Monday of the month. I have my father is very ill, and it's very hard for me to be away from him for right now. As a matter of fact, we just returned from Springfield where he was in the hospital last week. I would like to schedule a personnel committee meeting, not this Thursday, but Thursday of next week. If the members of the committee have a problem with that day, please let me know. I'm thinking about 6:30, and we can meet here. And just so I'm giving everybody a heads up, I would like to propose for your consideration in the interim that we appoint a co-chair of that committee, because I'm not sure how long this is going to play out with my dad, and I don't want to neglect the responsibilities of the committee because of me. So that's all I wanted to say.
What time did you say, Kara?
6:30, a week from this Thursday.
First of all, Kara, our prayers are with your dad.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Go ahead.
I've got a road problem I'd like to bring for you. I know you guys probably know about it, Robert, but they're off Sand Flat on Eric Road. They came in, they put a culvert across there. On either side of that, there's about 6 inches of mud right now, all the way up that road up to the chicken house.
In the road or on the side?
On the road. It's not the side. I mean, you hit where you put the culvert in, it's real nice. You get off of that and you just sink into it.
Okay.
What color mud is it?
Same color mud as your on your shirt, just a little bit darker.
Black dirt?
Sure ain't red.
No. Might be red.
Anything else?
I know you've been working on looking at another building, office for prosecuting attorneys.
Yeah.
And would it benefit your office if the Building and Grounds Committee met and maybe help with that? I don't even know who's on that.
There's no such thing.
Oh, we done away with that?
Just,
We done away with that, okay. Yeah. I guess you're on your own, Bill.
Personnel.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is adjourned.
Sandra.
John.
Oh.
I didn't have my hammer. This is roll call.
Kara Stingley.
Here.
Frank Hanson.
Here.
Dan Roberts. Brian Snavely.
Here.
Kathy Valentine.
Present.
Sam Tinsley.
Here.
Robert Meek.
Here.
James Hart.
Here.
Ralph Gwynn.
Present.
James Widener.
Here.
David Thompson.
Looks like everybody's here. Do I hear a motion to approve the March 9, 2015 minutes and the April 13, 2015 agenda?
That's so neat.
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign. Motion carries. Tommy, you want to read that?
Okay, the beginning balance as of March 1st, 2015 for County General was $2,126,637.28. Revenues for the month were $517,555.02. Disbursements for the month were $770,202.72, resulting in a balance on March 31st, 2015 for County General, $1,873,989.58. Beginning balance as of March 1st, 2015 for county roads was $365,566.37. Revenues for the month were $332,563.16. Disbursements for the month were $150,010.68, resulting in a balance on March 31st, 2015 of $548,118.85. 1/4 cent sales tax revenues for March were $101,291.54. 1% county sales tax revenues for March were $230,618.52. General revenue turnback for March was $14,988.55. Highway revenue turnback for March was $96,970.83. And the 1/2 cent highway sales tax for March was $38,402.82.
Is there any committee reports?
Finance Committee met, and you have the results of that in the ordinances that we have on the agenda tonight.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Roads and bridges met, and it was simply a report of you telling us the projects that were underway and and work plan.
And the law enforcement committee met, of course, our discussion was in the Budget and Finance Committee, the ordinance that we were gonna look at. So with permission of the three of us present, we deferred ours to that Budget and Finance Committee meeting.
And we did have a personnel committee meeting too, but the minutes that didn't say that, had 3 members present and had a short discussion.
Robert, I decided I'd show up to the committee meeting, law enforcement committee meeting, a little early, which was scheduled for 7:15. And I got there at 6:50, and the meeting was already over. And I think that needs to be addressed somewhere down the line. There was 2 of us that showed up early, quite a bit early, and were excluded from the meeting. And I understand you want to be efficient in all the meetings, one right after another and so forth and so on. So each meeting got compressed because of the length of time that was required to do the job, and no extra was necessary. But it's kind of hard to participate in something when you're not there.
And what committee meeting was that?
Law enforcement. There was a committee meeting before me, or who else was it? I think you were there.
Frank, what happened on that was the ordinance that we were gonna look at was brought up in the Budget and Finance Committee at the very beginning.
All right.
And there were 3 of us present at that time on the law enforcement committee. You hadn't gotten there yet. So since there
was somebody else that arrived early, but
there was only 4. Oh, there was only 4. When you showed up, there was only 4 at the committee. But 3 of us was already present. And that's what happened when they had our ordinance that we were looking at within that budget committee. The 3 of us.
Well, I'm not saying I was excluded from anything purposely. That's not the point. But the point is, if you're going to have a meeting and you schedule it at a time, you need to stay as close to it as possible. And maybe there's nothing that can be done about it, but I just wanted to voice the fact that I was not at the meeting because I was 25 minutes early.
Well, let's carry on with business and we can talk about this later if that's all right.
No problem.
Do I see announcements and presentations? We have a presentation to present Dorwin Shadows to the Quorum Court to appoint to Boone County Equalization Board. Mr. Shadows will take Gene Gettleman's position. Mr. Gettleman has had to resign with only 2 years of a 3-year term served. I have a letter here from Karen Hardesty. I'd like to read it if I could. It says, this letter is in reference to the resignation of Gene Gettleman from the Boone County Equalization Board. He has served 2 of a 3-year term with the EQ Board and was appointment by the Quorum Court. Mr. Gettleman regrets not being able to finish his term. He will be out of town during the time the board is in session due to family obligations at that time of the year, and it would occur each year during the time in the future. I would like to suggest appointment Dorwin Shadows to finish Mr. Gettleman's term. I have visited with him and he is willing to serve on the board. Mr. Shadows was in the real estate business for 37 years. Before retiring, he was a broker for his own office and served on the Harrison District Board of Realtors in every office, including president. Also served in every office in the Arkansas Realtors Association and was president in 2000. Mr. Shadows served on many committees of the National Association of Realtors and was involved in writing a revised code of ethics for the National Association of Realtors. He is an auctioneer and has served as a secretary, treasurer, and vice president of the Arkansas Auctioneers Association. I believe with his work explaining he is very qualified to be on the EQ board, and our county will be lucky to have him serve. This need is to be decided by the May Quorum Court meeting, so we have our board position filled by June 1st, 2015. The board members need to be retired on self-employed due to the fact the meeting can be scheduled at various times to accommodate the public during the day. I would like to put this before the Quorum Court as a nomination for Mr. Shadows to the Quorum, to the EQ board.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carried. Okay. All those approved, say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, same sign. Looks like he's approved. Good person.
We thank you for your service, Mr. Shannon.
Thank you.
Just work under Karen, that'd be good, man.
Done enough,
Norman, I would like to thank you for agreeing to do this for us.
Well, thank you.
I think you'll be great in that position. Thank you very much.
I've been told that several times already.
You do what?
Do you have anything to say, Norman, that you'd like to say?
Maybe I better say that loud. See, I've heard it, sucker. No, I am, I am honored to help the county in any way I can. And it'd be nice to kind of get back in the public. I've been out for about, going on 5 years, and it'll be nice to get back to that.
Great.
Doing something.
Thank you very much, Norman.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, I would like to introduce Mr. Scott Swanson and Mr. Chris Anderson, the Community Mental Health Director, to discuss a mental health coupon.
Thank you, Robert. I'm Scott Swanson. I was approached by Chris Anderson from Health Resource of Arkansas about 6 months ago for the need for a mental health family home in this area. That there's way more demand for this type of a service than there is. Well, there isn't any service. I'm going to make this personal for a second. I have a 30-year-old son with 160-something IQ. They got into a very prestigious university out in California, had to drop out right away because he kept trying to commit suicide. He's suffered from major depressive disorder for most of the last 10 years. He's been in so many facilities all over the country, I can't even count. And even though I've read that Arkansas is 50th out of 50 in mental health services, he finally got with Chris a couple of years ago after his last suicide gesture. I've had to figure out the difference between a real attempt and a gesture. And he's now doing fairly well, pretty well. Straight A's at North Ark, and doing real well. And it's a good thing to see. Anyway. As a result of this, I really got to trust Chris and his service in this area, his expertise in this area, and he said, we've just got so many young adults, middle-aged adults all over this county. And I said, where are they living now? And I'll never forget what he said. They're living on grandma's couch. All of them. Nobody will put up with them. If they were married, they got dumped. If their parents were parents, they said, get out of here, we can't handle this anymore. And they're on grandma's couch with a Social Security check, and they're driving grandma crazy, and they're not getting much better. But they have treatment 8 hours a day at Health Resource of Arkansas. So my wife and I bought a big house out on Harness Road, just across from that big farm, about a quarter mile away from the clinic, back in December. And we're fixing to open it as a mental health family home. I'm going to ask everybody here, not a favor, but a letter of support later when I'm just about done. 12 people. They'll be supported by their own Social Security check and their Social Security disability check. This is not some yahoo from the north. I married a local gal, so even though I'm from off, I'm kind of from here, I guess. She was born and raised here, and she saw the need for this too. She's in the medical profession. And she said, we really need to do this. We need to do this for kids like your son and kids that just don't have a clue and no place to go. They're in the park right now, or down on Crooked Creek. Anyway, we bought this big house. It'll be 12. We're going to divide it up into 12 separate bedrooms, and it'll have plenty of room. But trust me, it's a 3,800 square foot house out on Harness Road. Got 2 living rooms, a big old kitchen. On an acre of land, our plan is to have this be the finest mental health family home in Arkansas. And I've seen a few of them, and it will be. It's as nice a one as there is. My vision is to have these. We're going to pay for them to go to dinner, pay for them. We're going to provide dinner out. I've had a half a dozen restaurants come up to me and say, we'd like to host these folks once a week. Now, we're going to pay a fair fee, but we're going to I had 2 churches come up to me and say, we'll drive your folks to these restaurants to give them a chance to get out once a week. It's going to be a home, a family home. And what Chris explained to me, which really hit me, he said, Scott, when they come to see me from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 5 days a week, when they're done, it's just like you with your 8-hour-a-day job. They want to go home, watch TV, have a snack, have dinner, have a cigarette, talk with their friends, have their meds, and go to bed. It's a home. They're not doing anything there. There's no medical provision of any kind. We're going to monitor them taking their medicine in the evening, and that's it. But we will have at least one site supervisor on. Whenever they're in the home, there's going to be one person there that we've hired. And we're looking to open June 1st. This is where the letter of support comes in. If you care, I've already talked to Mayor Sherrill about this, and I've talked to County Judge Hathaway about this. The State Fire Marshal, I believe erroneously, has said, I will not let you open this. This is a facility. I said, kindly, sir, it's not a facility, it's a home. He said, I'm going to classify it as an R4 multifamily unit, and it's got to have a $50,000 sprinkler system. I had to get a lawyer down in Little Rock, and she researched all the case law, and she said, no, this is a single-family home. And then we've gone to the State Fire Marshal over this guy's head to say, please give us a letter of accommodation. We kind of need this. We want this. I know I do. I hope most of you here are in agreement. God bless Mayor Sherrill and Bob and Robert, too. I appreciate it, your letters of support. I'll be giving the address and the phone number of the State Fire Marshal if anybody wants to send him a note later. He's going to make up his mind by the end of the month. And he's giving it to his attorney, and they're just going to hopefully give us a letter of accommodation saying, this is a single-family home. There's no facility, there's no clinic, there's nothing going on here except 12 folks who are disabled by a chronic mental illness that are trying to live together to get better. And that's truly all that's going on here. We haven't even put the word out yet, Chris will tell you, and probably could fill it up twice over already. So there is a need. And it just seems to me, when I see people that have a common disability, mental or substance abuse, when they get together and live with each other, they really do prop each other up. Something magic starts to happen in that home, is from what I've seen, from the homes that I've visited. We've only got, I don't know how many we've got in the state because they don't have to be licensed or registered. And I'm not even sure why that is, but I tried to get it registered, and they said, we don't license these homes. Just go ahead and open. That was down in Little Rock. So this is what we're trying to do. I'm not a clinician in this. I'm not an expert in this. I've gotten to really know and trust Chris because of the fine work he's done with my son and other patients out there. They've got a great clinic going on out there on 7 South, and my wife and I just saw this as a way to hopefully give back and provide something better than grandma's couch or living under the bridge. So I'm going to let Chris tell you why this need is and how it's going to be monitored and what's going on in the home. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Anderson. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I see a lot of faces here that I've seen before. I don't know everybody by name, but I've seen not in my office. Truth of it is, we do have a group home right here in Boone County, and Mike Moore runs it. And a lot of these chronically mentally ill folks, they start out in the criminal justice system, and then I get a call. And then we come down and we try to get them out of there, and we try to get them into different types of services. You don't need me to tell you who you see walking up and down the street. You guys don't need me to tell you this. You guys will know them by name. You guys have probably had conversations with your loved one driving down the road going, oh, it's such a... Hopefully you've been asking, what's happened to such and such recently? The people that will be living in this home will be from this county. There's been a lot of people asking, where are these folks going to come from? They're already here. They live here. Some of you probably know them, or know their mother or their grandmother. Mental health is not what you see on TV. I have yet to see a television show or movie that accurately represents what really goes on in somebody with, say, who has schizophrenia. The workplace, we have a work program out at HRA, and we pay minimum wage, and we've got 3.5 acres, and I don't have to mow it anymore. We've got folks that mow it now. We believe in work. And the truth of it is that it's not that these folks are not ready for the workplace. It's the workplace isn't ready for them. The workplace wants 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, forever. Unless you have my job and they want you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. These folks have symptoms, and on Monday they may be fine. Tuesday they may be hearing voices. There's a lot of different programs out there that are connected to these group homes. And it's not just they're just going to be hanging out and sitting there. I would like to see them interacting with the community. I would like home to mean something. Now, we've got an opportunity. We've got an opportunity. There has not been anything like this in this part of the state. Eureka Springs has the only group home in this corner of the state. They have 10 beds, and they've had the same 10 people living there for about the past 5 years. And what I'm going to ask is that if you don't believe me, come out to the clinic. I would love for anyone who wants to come out. Come on out and take a look. Come on out and talk to our folks. See who's there. I'm going to ask all of you to write a letter back to them. Scott, Wall Street banker guy over there, me and him had a conversation about human capital. And I'm going to tell you right now, no one invests in human capital. That's what I do. I work with people. I don't sell cars. I don't have a quota. That's not what I do. I work with people. And providing someone with a home, we may take that for granted. But this is a big deal. And before I get all emotional, I'm just going to kind of ask for your support. I am very available. Please give a call and chew my ear off at the clinic. Please do. I would love to answer any questions anyone has about this. It won't be a clinic. It's a home. And that's kind of been the thing. And I'm like, no, I'm the clinic. They're with me all day. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have the whole thing. We just want a safe place for these people to live and a positive environment for them. And I think we've got a wonderful opportunity to provide that. I would love for people all over the state. I get calls all the time. We operate in 21 counties in the state of Arkansas. Now, I'm what they call the clinical advisor for Boone and Newton County. I do 2 of these counties. We've got 21. Today I got 3 phone calls. Y'all got that group home open? I got a guy from Harrison stuck in Little Rock. Well, not yet. I'm just going to ask for your support, and I'm going to ask for you guys to come out and take a look at our clinic. Come out and take a look what we're doing. We're out on Highway 7. I always identify, I go, you know where the Scenic 7 Motel is. And everybody knows where the Scenic 7 Motel is. We're right next door. We're right next door in the old Legendary Sportsman building. Please grab me, ask me questions, chew my ear off. I would love to talk to anyone about any of this. Thank you.
Chris, before you,
Yes, sir.
the state fire marshal, who have y'all been talking to? Is that Lindsay Williams?
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact.
I know Lindsay very well.
It was one of his folks that came up here from, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the town, from Marshall or someplace, that surveyed the house and said this isn't going to work. But Lindsay's, we've already had, the lawyer's already spoken to Lindsay, and he said, yeah, I'm willing to be reasonable.
Yeah,
if this is going to help the county, and we can find a way to make call it a single-family home, we'll probably just do that.
And I know Lindsay very well, so.
That'd help. Thank you.
Chris, is there not one of these up at Omaha for women? Is it not the same?
That's a substance abuse home. Same idea. Put folks together that are dealing with the same problem. They seem to get better quicker.
Seems like it's worked good up there.
Yeah. Pardon me?
It seems like it's worked good.
Oh, yeah, it has. It has. It has.
It's great. Chris, I thank you and Scott both for being here. Thank you for giving us that presentation.
Thanks everyone for your time.
Can we get some information where you want us to send the letters and all that?
Absolutely.
I sent that to Robert today, and I don't have another email address, but he has a mailing address, a fax number, and an email for Lindsay, for Captain Williams. By the way, I asked Chris, I'm big on brand recognition, I like things to make sense. I said, what's the best word in your profession for we're doing well? He said, progress. So this is going to be called the Progress Family Home. And it's been licensed with the state with that name. 372 Harness Road. And if it doesn't work with the state fire marshal, I'll have a nice big house to rent.
Next time you see Landy, just tell him, just call him Munchkin. No, no, since
No,
you're
you can do that. I really better.
Chris will have a good idea. We'll try to email this out to all the JPs, the address. Yeah. Okay, next, I would like to introduce Mr. Micah McFadden. He's not here, okay. And Tana May. I want to make sure I got her name right. Tana May.
Yeah.
They're with Columbia Life Insurance. Plum, I'm sorry, Plum.
Like I said, I'm with Colonial Life. I know a lot of you out there. And we have been visiting with the judge and Tammy here for the last month or 6 weeks about employee benefits, which is what we do. We do a little more than employee benefits, which is kind of what makes Colonial Life unique in that we come in and we offer a full line of supplemental benefits for employees, as well as helping you streamline the whole process of pre-tax benefits that are offered to your employees. Right now, the county is offering, I think Tammy said she's paying 17 bills on different carriers for pre-tax benefits for the employees. It's not just a headache. It's a liability and compliance issue that's been a concern. And what we do is we come in, we sit down with each employee, we communicate, we look at each employee and the benefits they have, both medical, if you have dental, vision, and we have all of this on one screen. We help communicate to the employees and offer them the voluntary benefits as well. All of this electronic on computer today, so less paper is better, supposedly. We're supposed to have been to a paperless world by now, but we're not there. The compliance issue is something that has been a concern, and that's, if you get, Joe comes in and is offered, and he's working in the road department, and is offered Aflac's policies, and for some reason, they don't get to the airport employees out there. And Sally over at the airport comes down with cancer in June. Joe says, well, why didn't you get that policy? And she says, well, I wasn't offered. I didn't see. And that is what's happening, is that some of your carriers are hitting the courthouse, and the ones that they can easily sit down with employees, and there are employees that are not getting seen. There are new hires that are not getting seen, and that's a compliance issue. So what we're, have proposed to do and are working, getting ready here, I think letters just went out in payroll this last week. We're going to come in and visit with the employees and begin to offer them Colonial Life benefits. There will be a few other carriers like the medical, the dental, the vision. I believe there's 401k. And we'll sit down and we'll look at the policies they currently have and help them do an illustrative comparison of what they've got now. They'll have the ability to keep those other policies, but not on payroll deduction. So they don't, those are, supplemental policies are owned by the insured, so they can keep them, say that they've had a cancer diagnosis and they can't get another cancer policy. They certainly do need to keep that policy, and they'll do it from a bank draft. So we'll sit down with each employee, look at their individual situations, try to help them understand. That's the other thing that we find going into places, is that employees don't know what they have. Some employees, you'll sit down and they've got 3 cancer policies, and they didn't realize that. So this, is another thing. We are offering to every employee that sit down with us, there's a trust fund set up. Each one will get a $5,000 accidental death policy. And we're also doing a flexible spending account for expenses, known expenses that someone knows that they're going to have if they, know that they take meds, every certain amount of meds. If they know they have child care expenses, they can put these aside pre-tax and pull them out and saving those tax benefits. Not only does that save the employee those taxes, it saves the county the matching taxes as well. So it's going to save the county money by doing that. We provide all of our accounts with access to CCHR, which is a human resources website that stays up to date. They're constantly being up to date with compliance, all kinds of compliance issues regarding if you get people with time off, military leave, family time leave, what's the right thing to do? What am I required to do? What can I do for this person? What should I not do? That sort of thing. So when HR people have questions about that, it's a great resource for them. We have great, administrative easy billing, which we've gone over with Tammy, which I think is going to help her. She's not going to have 15 bills now to go through. And when a employee terminates or leaves the county, there's going to be one place for her to go and note that employee is gone and get that billing taken care of. So hopefully it's going to be, the intention is for it to be a lot more comprehensive and for the employees to be able to understand their benefits better and make it easier on the county and save the county some money. And we're going to make every I've done this, not with Colonial, but I have done employee benefits, and we will get out and see every employee. And if we can't see them, we'll be making phone calls trying to see them, but we will make sure that they're all seen. So, and I think this will be going into effect June 1st. We'll start seeing employees here. And I guess the point of my being here is that you guys may have to field some of these questions. Why is the county doing this? So that's the point of my kind of trying to be here and let y'all know that's kind of the road we've gone through. Yes?
How is this going to affect the medical insurance that we voted on at the beginning of the year? We're staying with the same...
The core medical plan?
Yes.
It won't affect it at all.
Okay.
You'll be keeping your same core medical plan. These are just the supplemental plans. So in fact, you'll keep that same agent, and all those plans won't change. So, thank you.
Any more questions? Tana, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we got one more announcement. Justice Frank Hampson, you got the floor.
Yes. Over the weeks, I have talked to numerous people here in the community, and they were talking about the farmers market having their operations going on down at the courthouse. And their gist is why don't we have garage sales down there? And I thought, well, I've never heard of that. I don't know ins and outs about it, but we'll check into it. So I started asking around, and most everybody I've talked to is very much in favor of it. Kind of give you an idea, you can have a garage sale at your home, or you can have one like this on Pine and South, what's the name of it? Lakeshore. They have a garage sale down there where they lay out all their stuff on the ground. Lovejoy up north has the antique shop, and they have an open field where they put up tables and sell stuff. And I understand that there are garage sales all over town. Saturday, I counted the garage sales advertised in the newspaper, and there were 12. If I've got an item that I don't need anymore, I would like to sell it. If you have an item that you would like to buy and I have it, you would like to buy it at a good price. So there is a need in the community for this financial change, but there are some complications involved. Let me say that the Court Park has a farmer's market. They're selling tomatoes. Bill's Dollar Store, or Dollar General rather, selling tomatoes or milk or whatever. So there's a competition down there already. But if I go down to sell my things at the Court Park, like a canoe or a kayak or a P-row or a welding machine or whatever. I'm not competing with any of the businesses downtown on the square. They have their market. Now, several years ago, I heard a big bunch of discussion about promoting downtown Harrison, that the shops are moving out of town, moving out on the outskirts of town, up north or down south or whatever. So it seems like we need to bring more people into town. I'm talking a yard sale on the north and the east side of the court park. The farmer's market is on the west side and the south side, so there's room down there. There's tight parking at the Harvest Fest, so there would be tight parking if the garage sales were going. There's room for about 45 12 by 12 garage sales, and if you put your stuff in a trailer or the bed of a pickup truck and back into the parking places on the north side, you could put about 22 garage sales there, selling out of the bed of the truck. There's some talk about some of the junk that's being sold in some of the marketplaces. If they're displaying the junk and it's selling, then let them sell it. If it's not selling, then they're going to be out of business before they really get started very well. Now, one thing about the Court Park Farmers Market, it promotes local folks and tourism and out-of-towners passing through to stop because of all the stuff. It's very much like the one at Alpena in that open field by the Citgo station. People driving through see all that stuff. They say, let's go in there and take a look at it. So we're talking about bringing traffic to the downtown area merchants. It would be a place where you can meet and greet with your fellow citizens here in the town, your neighbor. So that's a positive thing for the community we're talking about. Harvest Fest fills up the whole court park, and it works very well, and it's very well accepted. I don't know of anybody complaining other than it's awful crowded, which the merchants would probably like that. Now, if we have 12 garage sales going on in town, you can't make them all in your car. If you start at daylight and go to each one of them. But you could see probably 30 garage sales or court park shops down there, and do that probably within 3 or 4 hours. More stuff to look at. Saves a lot of time and effort driving from town to house. It's a positive thing for the community. And shoppers, well, let me just give you an example. He's got stuff, let's say, that he wants to put in the park down there. He wants to get rid of it, and he can make money because I've got money, and I want to come down there and buy some of the stuff he wants, or he's got, rather. Now, I'm not saying that we need to make a decision tonight. What this is going to entail is quite a bit of thinking, and the legal aspects of it, and the quality aspects of it. Anybody got any comments, negative or positive? Okay.
Where does the county judge stand on this request?
Well, there he is. I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
That's what we need to know. He has control.
Well, that's true, and he doesn't have all the facts, or he can't make a decision. I haven't discussed in detail with him, and this is not the time to go into detail.
It's something we need to investigate a little bit and research.
I think so.
I've heard there's some pluses and some negatives to this, so we really need to look at it.
I would like to have feedback from all you guys, or the general public now. I've got a meeting that I'm holding at the Fireside Chat Thursday at St. John's Episcopal Church Parish Hall. And we'll discuss this also. So everybody in this room is invited to attend that meeting. There's some other presentation that'll be given.
Justice Hampson, if you're proposing that there's 12 spaces, who's going to regulate that? who's to say 20 families don't show up?
First come, first served, just like the,
Who's gonna
farmer's
regulate
market.
that? Are you gonna be down there every Saturday just to,
yeah, and by the way, this is Saturday only, it has nothing to do with Tuesday.
would you be down there every Saturday to
I'd
tell them
probably be down
no,
there to
it's
help
full?
get it started, and we work out the details as time goes by. We don't promise anything other than the ability to sell some of your goodies, your junk to their treasure.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carrie Richter, and I'm with the Central Ozarks Farmers and Artisans Market in Harrison. I first of all want to say thank you for the opportunity for local farmers and artisans to represent our goods at a local market. I think that it brings a lot to our local community, and we do appreciate the opportunity to do this here in Harrison. I've heard what you said, and I think that there are some very valid points which you provide. But I do want to say that the farmers market is extremely regulated. We have a book of bylaws. We have rules which all of our marketers must abide by. Our marketers have to pay a fee so that we have advertising which occurs on a regular basis. And we are governed by not just a book of rules and bylaws, but we also have to abide by things such as the U.S. Department of Agriculture and our local food regulations. And I understand that maybe the people that you're referring to as a garage sale, that's a flea market. And there is no regulation for that. A concern that I have is for the consumer. Who is protecting the consumer and who is watching out for the people who are going to be going to these locations? It is assumed by many consumers that if they go to a location such as the square, that they are being serviced by merchants and by artisans or by marketers that are under regulations. And so they feel like they can trust the people who are selling them things. Another concern that I have is you say that you will be drawing people into the Harrison Square. What I feel is that if you are bringing people who are backing up trucks and having baby swings and old clothes, and you're putting it on the north and the east side of the square, which is predominantly the area where people drive through, I feel that that will detract from the beautification of the square, and it will also limit parking to locations which already struggle with parking. So those are some points that I just wanted to bring up. I know as the farmers market, we already struggle with parking on Saturdays, people having to park in different locations and walk to where we are at. And it's not first come, first serve at the market. We have people that have been there for 5 years or more. They have designated locations on the square. We have rules as to where people can set up. We have rules as to where they need to set up, how they are to clean up, and how it's regulated. And if any of those rules are broken, then there's somebody there that says you need to take care of business or you're not welcome as part of the market, because we have to ensure that what we are doing on the square benefits our community as a whole and it's regulated. So I guess that's what I wanted to say. I appreciate the opportunity to say that, and I appreciate what you've said. I just think that those are some points that I wanted to bring up in regards to that.
Thank you for your comments. Let me ask you this. Did your little rule book thing there pop up overnight, or did it evolve over 6 or 7 months of trial and error?
I don't think that there was much trial and error. We, if I'm correct in stating this, and I may be incorrect in stating this, but this was modeled after another market, which they had already gone through their trial and error. So no, it wasn't trial and error. It was after an established market who had a very similar setup to what we do in Harrison, which is a smaller rural community.
Well, let me ask you this. If you have your farmer's market going and say 150 people show up to buy whatever.
Frank, if I can, I'd like to interject, and we can discuss this later. We're running, deep into our time, and we've still got quite a bit on our agenda. I think this is something that you and him need to get together and visit with, and then come visit with me if you can. And we'll try to settle this.
Can you say something?
Can you take a little bit more from the audience? Right now you've got about 7 or 8 of the local businessmen showed up for this meeting. We hardly ever come to your meetings because we heard of this.
As long as it's quick, sir.
I'll give you the floor right there.
Let
You would let me speak to it?
Yes, you bet, Dan.
How long do I have? I got a beeper.
3.
Mr. Hampson and I have spoken on this issue, and I see great points in it, really. But I also look at different aspects in our city, and that being businesswoman, and most of these people in here have called me, voicing, I'm not going to say all negativism, but some negativism. I can see this happening maybe 3 times at the most a year. You know, I think it'd be great, but every single Saturday may be a problem. As the farmer's market's going on, every single Saturday may hamper a business instead of help business. The parking is a premium down there. Anybody that's been on the square, they know parking is a premium. But I would kind of intercede to say, if we could do it 2 or 3 times a year, I think it'd work well. But other than that, that's all I have to say about it. Anybody else? Oh, I knew there'd be somebody, but anyway. That's more or less our thoughts on it.
Just, I'll make it quick. Number one, city, state, and county.
Could you introduce yourself, sir?
My name's Rick Schomburger. I'm Backstreet Traders downtown on the square. Or just on the square, however you want to put it. City can't proceed state, county can't proceed state. State says you set up a sale 3 times in the same location, you have to get a sales tax permit. Businesses you have sitting in here collect you guys sales tax permits. Right now, if you go on Facebook and type in garage sale or Harrison or yard sale, there's 27 groups on yard sale you can do from your own house to sell your canoe. And that, there's nothing we can do about that. But right now, as we keep on saying, parking's a premium. And that if we take and we clog up the square with people coming to the yard sales, you guys are going to lose money because we're not going to be selling our wares. We have major investments down on this square to this community. That's the reason why the downtown square has such a viable business community, because we took our time, our effort, our chances on Harrison, on Boone County. And other than that, I'll just shut it off there because I know there's a lot more here. Thank you.
One more, please.
May I speak? May I speak?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle McAlpin. I grew up in Harrison, and I left here to join the military. And I came back home, and I love my town. And I purchased a building. I purchased Lena Francis. I'm really nervous. I can't remember when I bought it. We've been in our location since August of last year. The reason I came home is because I love my town. And I love the square. I have great memories of that. And I have invested a huge amount of time and effort to be down there in a new business that I'm trying to grow. Parking is, it's really tough down there. We have people that park in front of our businesses and stay all day. I don't know where they go, but I just feel like if there was a better place to do this, I mean, I know that people need help, and I know that there's a lot of people struggling, and they can benefit from a garage sale. But there's got to be a better place to do this where parking is better, the area is better, it would lend itself better to this type of thing. And I don't feel like the square is it. I think it would hurt my business. That's all I say. Thank you.
I'd like to say, any of you would like to visit with me on this subject, come to my office or call me. I'll be glad to talk to you. I'll make myself available to discuss this. I think it's an issue I need to hear from all of you about. Thank you.
May I make a summary statement?
Al, real quick, Frank.
Okay, the idea, the conceptual idea is to bring shoppers to town, whether they're buying tomatoes or canoes or going in your shop to buy whatever you're selling. But you're not going to sell unless you have customers. and the customers that you have on Saturday are not taking up that much parking space. So just bear in mind, we're talking about Saturday, we're not talking about Monday to Friday. But you're right, it is a madhouse Monday to Friday to try to find a place to park. Thank you, I'm correct.
Okay, let's get on with new business. We have an appropriation ordinance for the county jail and county sheriff's department employee acres. This is sponsored by Justice Quinn. You please.
Motion we read this.
I'd second that.
All those in favor?
Thank you for having all this.
Thank you.
All those opposed, same sign.
Being enacted by the Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore be it ordained by the formal court of Boone County, Arkansas. Section 1. The following appropriations are made from the jail sales tax fund number 3499-0418. From 3499-0418 jail sales tax $1,271.22. To 1-000-0418-1007 county jail personnel services retirement matching $456.44. To 1-000-1007 county sheriff personnel services retirement matching $814.78. These funds, $1,271.22, are appropriated for the county's part of the retirement fund for a part-time employee with Boone County Jail and a part-time employee with Boone County Sheriff. Section 2. If any provision or section of this ordinance be held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions and sections of this ordinance. And to such end, the provisions and sections of this ordinance are declared to be serviceable. Section 3. This ordinance herein enacted is an appropriation ordinance, and therefore it is effective immediately. Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a question.
Yes.
To Sheriff Moore, is this the result of us in Boone County working these part-timers over their allotted time, or is this that situation where you've got them combining two jobs to?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Could be either one.
Thank you. That's
No
all.
more questions? Questions from the audience? Okay, I guess we'll do a roll call vote.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Kara Staton,
Yes.
Frank Hampson,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Ryan Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Kinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meeks,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn,
Yes.
James White.
Second motion passes. Okay, number 2, appropriation ordinance for the Boone County Collector's Office, submitted by Jim Hart.
And I've got that one, and I would move that it be read by title only.
I second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign.
I'll read it. Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Boone County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. This is not new money. This is a $77 check. This company called Apprentice was employed by the county to input the data for Data Scout Pro, and then Data Scout Pro reimburse the county for the money. So it's just $77 moving from one pocket to the other. I would move for approval.
Second.
Need discussion? Oh, any discussion from the audience? Okay. Have a roll call.
Karen State,
Yes.
Frank Hansen,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Tinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, appropriation number 3 is appropriation orders for the deputy prosecutor, attorneys, and Boone County Airport Department employees' workers' compensation. This was submitted by Sam Tinsley.
I'll make a motion to have this ordinance read by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign?
Motion to adopt.
Gotta read it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Boone County, State of Arkansas, and ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015, and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas. And as it stated here, this is the sum of $257 in the amount needed to pay the workman's comp trust for the year. The deputy prosecutor attorney's budget was short $33, and the airport budget was short $224.
Any discussion from the audience? Okay, let's get a
Frank Hansen.
The motion to adopt.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to move that one along. Who seconded it?
I'll second.
Now, Frank Hansen,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Tinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Karen State.
Yes.
Okay. Fourth appropriation ordinance for the Boone County Sheriff's Department for fuel rebates, submitted by Justice Dave Thompson.
I have to make a motion that we read this through section 1.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Okay, being enacted by the Quorum Court of County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, section 1. The following appropriation is made from the county general budget number 1,000. From 1,000 county general, $187.36. To 1,000-0400-2007 county sheriff supplies fuel oil, $187.36. This sum, $187.36, is the total amount deposited into county general from a check for a fuel rebate from the county sheriff's fleet gas card with no new money appropriated. Move for adoption.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll count.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Tinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Karen State,
Yes.
Frank Hansen.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, the last appropriation ordinance for the Boone County Jail and Boone County Sheriff's Department for new employees' salaries, benefits, and supplies, submitted by Justice Robert Meeks.
Now, we read this through section 2.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas, Section 1, the following transfer is made from 3499-0418 Jail Sales Tax Set Aside Fund from 3499-0418 Jail Sales Tax Set Aside $137,539 to 1,000 General Fund $137,539. Section 2, the following appropriations are made from the General Fund 1,000. 0418-1001 County Jail Personal Services Salaries Full-Time $48,342. 0418-1006 County Jail Personal Services Social Security Matching $3,775. 0418-1007 County Jail Personal Services Retirement Matching $7,075. 0418-2009 County Jail Personal Services Health Insurance Matching $4,560. 0418-1010 County Jail Personal Services Workman's Compensation $832. 0418-1011 County Jail Personal Services Unemployment Compensation $480. 0418-1015 County Jail Personal Services Uniform Allowance $960. Jail appropriation amount is $66,024. This sum of $66,024 allows for hiring of 2 jailers at the annual entry-level salary and benefit amount of $33,012 each. 0400-1001 County Sheriff Personal Services Salaries Full-Time $33,845. 0400-1006 County Sheriff Personal Services Social Security Matching $2,590. 0400-1007 County Sheriff Personal Services Retirement Matching $4,955. 0400-1009 County Sheriff Personal Services Health Insurance Matching $2,280. 0400-1010 County Sheriff Personal Services Workman's Compensation $585. 0400-1011 County Sheriff Personal Services Unemployment Compensation $240. 0400-2006 County Sheriff Supplies Clothing $1,020. 0400-2007 County Sheriff Supplies Fuel $1,000. 0400-4005 County Sheriff Capital Outlay Vehicles $25,000. The County Sheriff appropriation amount is $71,515. This sum of $71,515 allows the hiring of 1 County Sheriff employee at the corporal level at an annual salary and benefits level together with the necessary supplies and equipment. I move to adopt.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. Judge. Let me go back to when Danny Hagan was sheriff. Before he left out of office, he came to, I know 2 of us, myself and I know Sam Tinsley was also contacted about this. Danny was asking or making the statement that he was going to need, the court as a whole was going to have to look at hiring some jailers down for the sheriff's office. And I can't remember, it was more than 2. It seemed like it was 3, maybe 4. But at some point in the near future, we're going to have to handle this situation. Now, since Sheriff Moore has come on, the problem hasn't gone away. Someone has told me, well, it's got to be a party line from Democrat to Republican. Well, it's not, because Danny's Democrat, Mike's Republican, so both men have seen the need of what's going on down there. As a Quorum Court member, it's not up to me to decide what any public official needs or don't need, because I'm not running their office. They're the ones that are in those offices. They see the problems that they have, and they notify us as JPs to look into the matter and see if they can get, in this case, these people hired. I talked with Mike as well as some of the law enforcement committee. We also, the committee has gone down to the jail, and Mike has given us a tour of that jail and has explained to us what his needs were and why, what the problems were and the causes. And he was asking for these additional personnel. In doing this, I asked him, what else does he need more than these three individuals? And this is the bottom line that he gave me. I personally think he needs a CID man or two. But this is what Mike has asked to put together. 2 more jailers and 1 more person on the highway patrol. And I understand this patrol guy is going to really, my term is as a warrants officer, not the sheriff. He's going to take the bulk of the warrants, the way I understand it. And that will relieve all the deputies serve warrants. They go in their shift, they pick up their paperwork, they go out on their shift. But this man will take the bulk of them and try to do more of that work. Now, does that mean he's not going to be out patrolling? Yes, he will be. But he's going to be handling pretty much this paperwork. The paperwork, and I've forgotten, I've left the figures out in the truck, but writs, divorce papers and things like that, warrants of arrest, it's above $5,000 a year. The combined of those two, I think, is what those figures were. I figured $2,500 for, well, I forgot what the figures were. But between all the deputies serving papers throughout the year, there's roughly over 5,000 papers that has to be served. That's a lot of work for these deputies to be doing. And by putting this extra man to work, it also is going to get this CID bunch where they can work their cases, you know, the criminal cases, and not have to worry about this stuff. Just the other day, the Tuesday in April 7th paper, here we got the crowded jails feeling the strain. This was in Harrison's paper. What we're doing now, just like every other 74 counties in the state, we're holding state prisoners. And we can't get rid of them because they don't have the room down at Varna, or as y'all probably know, Cummins. I was raised down there, so I've seen all that. But they're overstaffed. I'm sorry, they're not overstaffed, they're overcrowded. And we've got their people up here that hasn't gone down yet, that's been, I guess for lack of a better term, assigned to the Cummins prison. But we're still housing those folks. And some of those folks are not just, they are criminals. Some of them are going down for some serious stuff. They're short these 2 days. Mike seems to think. I believe he also is. And if there's any kind of troubles down there, because there's 4, they run 2 shifts on the jail. 2 of those men, there's 4 men on the shift if I'm not mistaken. 2 of them are what I call lockdown. They're in a position that they cannot leave that station that they're at because they control electronic doors. They leave that position, these doors don't get open. So 2 of these people has to remain at their post at all times. So that only leaves 2 other folks walking the floor. If something should happen down there, you're going to have to call a deputy in for extra manpower. Well, how long is that going to take them to get there? 5, 10, 15 minutes, 30? But it's just, they just need that extra help. And that's why this has been proposed, that to supply the sheriff what he believes he needs within his office.
Any more questions?
Justice Meek, will this increase in jailers help with the jail standards? Are we getting close to becoming out of compliance, or safety of individuals?
You get, well, you know law enforcement, you're an old officer yourself, but as far as the jail standards, those are, as you know, already said. We just have to have the manpower and the means to follow those rules and regulations. I think as far as the safety issue, yes, I do believe it's a safety issue. Going back to this first ordinance that we dealt with the acres, this may even help on the part-time people, that if you have 2 more permanent, this may for us stop this acres thing about working these part-timers more hours where we now have to pay their retirement. Now, I can't guarantee that, but if you've got more people working full-time employees, because what I'm told is their list of part-time folks, they can't find them. They don't have a major pool to pull from. And I'm like anybody else, you know, just if I've got a day job and you call me to come work 6 hours tonight because so-and-so, you know, we're short or so-and-so got sick and I need you, I'm not coming in because I've got a job I got to go to.
Frank, you're recognized.
Mike, is what he said accurate?
Yes, sir.
You agree with it?
Yes, sir.
Then I think we ought to support the sheriff.
Those of us that were on the court whenever we built the jail, we knew that, and discussed it, whenever we got to a certain number of prisoners, that we had to increase the staff to handle that increased prisoner. And we have people passed a 1/4 cent sales tax to support the jail, and that's what we need to do.
I have another question on the extra deputy. Are we creating a bump in rank there too? Because
we're going to set him in
as
at corporal's pay, yes, not a. And the only reason that, how I'm looking at this, if you put him in a corporal, then they'll utilize already an established officer down there who knows what's going on. Because you don't want to hire somebody in at entry level, because then you've got to train this guy to do whatever it is he does about, you know, arrest warrants and civil papers on divorce and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that Mike can go ahead and take one of his experienced people and put one of those into that position.
Then would you backfill that with a
Then
new
he could-
person?
Then he could backfill that with another hire.
Don't we generate revenue by serving warrants?
Sometimes, yes.
Where does that revenue go? I mean, if we're going to put a full-time man on warrants, we're definitely going to increase revenue. Is that correct?
Well,
by warrants,
not
sir.
necessarily, because we serve warrants now anyway. It's just that our deputies, I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to jump in. Right now, our deputies, when they go out on patrol, usually, you know, at least a third of their shift is spent serving papers, serving warrants, what have you. We've got about 2,400 warrants right now waiting to be served. You know, a lot of those are really no good. They're either old warrants or they're people that have moved away that we don't have, you know, extradition on. They're just mad warrants. We need to probably purge some of those, but we probably have, I know we have several hundred very good warrants that we need to be served. So if our deputies are out there serving papers and looking for warrant service, they don't have time to patrol. So when we have areas in a community that has asked for an additional watch, or something's going on, you know, by the time they serve all this paperwork, that cuts down on the watch time, cuts down on just regular patrol time. So the person right now is handling our warrants, also does all of our evidence. It's a CID person, and then they try to work some cases also. If we have a deputy that was taking care of all the warrants and taking care of a lot of the civil papers that we serve, that CID guy can spend a majority of his time working cases, still taking care of the evidence room, and our deputies hopefully will be able to go out and do a little bit more patrol. The jail staff, those two that I'm asked for, yes, we could use 4 very easily. We would not be overstaffed with 4. But what we would like to do is try to get by with 2, and we're going to change the shift and have them on a special shift that's just the most busy part of the day. So probably like a noon to midnight or a 10 to 10 to try to alleviate some of the problems that we're having being shorthanded and not have to go with 4 people. It's not necessarily a jail standards issue. We just have to provide 43.3 feet per prisoner, basically. But the problem is a safety issue, not only for our officers, but also for the inmates. Once we place handcuffs on a person, our job and our duty is to protect that person. And so if we have a staff that's short, and we fail to protect, then we're violating their constitutional rights. So, is it needed? I think so. I think my job is to let you know the needs. I don't want a lawsuit to come sometime and you guys say, well, why didn't you tell us we needed people? Why didn't you tell us you were short-handed? So I have told you
this is what we need. Now, it's your job to decide if you want to fund that or not, or if you want to take action or not. We have two completely different jobs here, and you have to look at the whole county, countywide, at the needs and the funds available. I have to look at the sheriff's office and jail, and it's just life. So I'm telling you my need, and I trust you guys will make decisions based on the big picture and do what's best.
Yeah, is there a way to quantify how much overtime we'll be saving by putting on these full-time people?
Not really, because we never know what's going to happen over the next few months of people getting sick, people getting injured.
If we have people quit, Robert made a good point on the part-time folks. The jail staff is a real specialized job, and not just one person can walk in and do that. They have to have proper training. Even the part-time folks, they have to be properly trained or reliable. They go through pepper spray and taser training, and I'm telling you, there's just not a lot of people out there that want to work part-time in a jail that requires you to be pepper sprayed and tased. It's just not, it's not that fun of a job. So, part-time help is a tough thing.
Is it safe to assume that overtime will go down? So we can't quantify it, but.
Did the part-time help will go down?
Yes.
We certainly hope so.
The overtime hours.
We certainly hope so, yes.
I think that they would have more opportunity to give people that comp time also.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it pile up and get one people.
We've had 95 people in jail this week. And, when we staffed the jail, there was probably 45 that was in there when we first opened it, 45 or 50.
Also, I'll bring up with Chris talking about this mental health deal. As he told us that a lot of Mike is watching over, that's where they get some of their, inmates, okay, some of their folks that are down there goes into the justice system first. Now, if they're there and something happens on that floor and we've only got 2 guys that's trying to keep order in there, we're going to get one of the deputies hurt or one of those prisoners hurt. Now, prisoners, I'm not too worried about. I mean, y'all know that I got shot. I don't really care about the prison, but I do care about that officer's health. And I shouldn't have said that, I guess, on tape, but anyway. But that's how I feel about it. I mean, it's the folks going in there, it's a tremble, whether it be a serious incident or whether it be something minor, but a law's been broken. I'm more concerned about that officer that's dealing with those people in there until they can get, in this case, mental health folks can get some help, at least get out of that prison or that jail system. And I just think we need the extra people down there. And like I say, if Sheriff Moore is telling us what he needs, I think we need to pay attention and to supply his needs. At least for the time being, we'll worry about this at a later date as far as another issue.
Dan, did you have questions?
Yes. This situation, I think, is a little unique. We're talking about dedicated money here, money that was dedicated by the voters in Boone County, 68% of whom voted to build that jail and exercise this $0.25 tax. And the other thing is, in my mind, that we've got to abide by the statutes also. The law enforcement is the number 2 requirement by statute. The first is, of course, all the courts in the county are number 1. Number 2 is law enforcement, including the jail. We've got to, I believe, fund the jail adequately. We have the money to do it. The other thing is that we have utilized some of that money, I think, incorrectly, and I think we need to get back on track. By statute, we're not allowed to spend it anywhere except in law enforcement, and that would include both the jail and the sheriff's office. The other thing that has been mentioned, by looking at the past budgets, I find that or it has been found, I should say, that we spend as much as 4 times as much money as we budgeted for part-time help. And that, of course, is where your appropriations are coming for, like we had it tonight, for your retirement. It isn't the intent that we would hire these people and going to pay retirement on. They're part-time. That isn't the way it works. We've spent as much as 4 times the money we budgeted for part-time help, and just to take care of retirement. And that doesn't make sense to me. I think that the request is well-founded, they've researched it quite well, and it's our duty as their representatives up here to pass this, to get ourselves back in shape where we can operate the jail successfully, and well, it's been operated, I think, from day one quite well, in spite of the fact that they've had some problems in personnel. So my feeling is that it's our duty to pass this ordinance where he's requested this amount of money for these employees.
Call for the question, Judge.
Okay,
Comments from
the audience? I like to say something. Mike, I personally think all the JPs ought to go get pepper sprays so they see what
I'm gonna be out there. I'm all right. A lot of us have already.
Call for the vote?
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Tinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Wynn,
No.
James Wagner,
No.
David Thompson,
No.
Kara Staton,
Yes.
Frank Hampson,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
8 to
Passes.
3.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much, appreciate your support.
I move we adjourn unless we can figure out a way to get the pool hall back down on the side.
Second.